Oh, hang on. Let me get
Hello?
this. Hang on. Uh, uh,
Hello?
are you there? Hey, how
Hey,
you doing?
what's happening, man?
Oh, I'm sick to death of being isolated. I mean, like I thought I was made for this because I'm an introvert, but like it's harder than I thought.
I know I haven't talked to you in several days. I was wondering if you had gone Wookie on me or something.
Sometimes a Wookiee needs to go Wookiee, man.
You do, eh?
Yeah, you
Uh,
just Wookiee out, you know.
uh, well, speaking of Wookiees, I had
Uh-huh.
something really cool that I wanted to share with you.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Now, people probably don't realize that that the whole idea for Wookiees in Star Wars was actually inspired by, believe it or not, the Sasquatch.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So, like, and we've had a lot of interactions with the Sasquatch, and you and I, we actually went to the Chuela Psychic Sasquatch conference last year, and it was a blast.
That
You
was
know.
amazing. That was like, and that giant tree that was stuck between those two trees up high,
Yeah.
like
No kidding.
just like we would have needed a crane to do that. So
Yeah.
I got no idea how they like that. That was incredible, amazing experience. And Cliff Wapiti,
Yeah.
yeah,
Isn't he awesome?
just spending time with that man is just like you know,
Yeah.
it's an incredible experience. Yeah.
It-
So go on.
yeah. So we've been talking a lot about the Pon-tee and the Sandia crew and the sort like that. But what a lot of people don't know is that the Pon-tee are actually some of them are friends with the Sasquatch, like Radar. He hangs out with the Sasquatch, and
Mhm.
we knew that Radar was up at the Chuela conference when we were up there, and he was basically chasing Kie, his teenage buddy, because he was chasing Barry, his girlfriend, through the forest, and they were like all lovey-dovey stuff like that. But a lot of people don't understand is that the reason why the Sasquatch are so evasive is because they're telepathic, so they already know when you're in their territory, and they ping you, and they know whether you have good intentions or bad intentions. And not only
Mhm.
that, but the Sasquatch are also multidimensional, so they can actually walk through. It's like walking from a forest onto a sandy beach from one world into the next world seamlessly, and they can do that, the backwards as well. And that's why hunters will be following a Sasquatch pathway, and all of a sudden the footprints just end nowhere.
Yeah,
How did that
they could
happen?
just phase into a different phase shift of matter. They just,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And Sue Walker, who is the telepath for Sandia, she does all the tweets for them. She's had a lot of interactions with the Sasquatch, and I had this crazy story that I wanted to share with you. And
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah, this story is actually known as the Chokeweed story.
Uh, uh, is this legal in all countries? This story, or
Uh, it is, but I'm not gonna give it away. I'm gonna let I'll tell you the story and let you can hear it from Sue's perspective. So
okay.
this is how it goes. It goes the chokeweed story. So Otter and I are in Estes Park, Colorado, presenting at a conference in
Wait a
2000.
minute. There's something happening. Oh, we're doing the dream sequence thing
I think
again.
I
Oh,
think
I
you
always
might.
get so sick.
So Otter and I are in Estes Park, Colorado, presenting at a conference. And it's about December 15th, 2015, and it's very late in the afternoon near sunset. And the conference audience had just finished attending a presentation done by Sasquatch researcher Kiwani Lapsaritis. And Kiwani told the audience something that we already knew. He told them that the Sasquatch are telepathic. The Pon-tee had let us know months before that. Well, after his presentation is finished, Otter and I went back to our room on the second floor of this hotel conference center. Our upstairs room had a door to the second floor balcony that faced east, and like I said, it's late in the afternoon, so I went out for a breath of fresh air before supper. I was out on the balcony facing the mountain, admiring the really pretty sunset colors and looking for signs of Big Brother Sasquatch on the western slope of this mountain that's directly in back of the facility. It's less than 100 yards from us to the east, and I was thinking about it as this beautiful, perfect place for the Sasquatch to live. There's plenty of water, game, things for shelter, etc. Well, just because I sent out this telepathic hello and apology to any local Sasquatch that might be on the mountain. And it went something like this. Hi, my name is Sue, and I want to reach out and tell you hello. I learned to telepathically speak with you from our friends, the Pon-tee. Well, I wanted to let you know, too, that there are a whole bunch of people here who just learned that the Sasquatch nations are telepathic. Well, if you hear any loud or inappropriate voices or attempts at telepathic communication, I apologize in advance. Please forgive them. They're trying. Well, I didn't expect an answer. Right about then, Otter, who was still in our room, yelled out through the open door. And he said, "Hey, Sue, have you had your seaweed yet? I personally eat snacking seaweed for the iodine because it helps my thyroid." Well, I was about to respond to Otter when suddenly this quiet, female telepathic voice suddenly comes from somewhere close by in the deepening shadows of the pines on the mountain. And it's just a stone's throw from me, and I hear her say, "What's seaweed?" Well, I immediately recognized that this voice was in response to my greeting from just a moment before. And so I turned back to the mountain, and I didn't miss a beat, honest. But I continued this conversation as if this lady Sasquatch and I had been girlfriends for a long time. And I said, "Seaweed is a plant that grows in the salt water of the ocean. I eat it as a medicine, and it keeps me healthy." And then I paused, and I thought for a second, and I continued. And out of sheer curiosity, I asked, "Do you have any plants you use as a medicine?" I asked this lady Sasquatch. Now, I couldn't see her, but I could very clearly hear her. I didn't know if she'd answer, because there was this pause for 5 or 10 seconds. And then, honest to God, there was this high-pitched, short, female giggle. She said, "Oh, yes! Chokeweed!" And I thought, chokeweed. And I know my wild edibles and herbals from North America because I taught myself. And I was racking my brain trying to come up with it. Chokeweed. The only chokeweed that I could think of was a seldom used nickname for a plant that grows in the Midwest, at least in pastures for cows and horses, but it gives horse's colic. And I know that we can't eat that particular plant, and I kind of doubted that the Sasquatch could either. So I tried again, and I telepathically and verbally talked out loud to her, and I said, could you send me an image of what you call chokeweed? I might call it something else. A moment later, and again, I'm not making this up, a moment later, in my head, clear as day, comes an image of a fully mature, ready to harvest, 8-foot-tall marijuana plant. Chokeweed, she said, and she was very enthusiastic. We pull it up by the roots and throw it on our fires. And then she sent me this image of a fire inside of a cave. Our children fall asleep easier, we digest our food better, and then we laugh and sing. But the smoke makes us choke sometimes. And she went quiet. I couldn't help it. I began to bust a gut laughing, and Otter, who's still in our room, hears me through the open door, and he yells out at me, "Who are you talking to?" And I was still laughing, and I said, "It's the lady Sasquatch on the mountain." And then I asked him, "Otter, has pot ever been called chokeweed?" I glanced in the room, and Otter had this funny look on his face at this strange combination of things I had just said. But then again, I'm kind of known for asking him bizarre questions, so he just shrugged and responded, "No, not that I've ever heard of. Why?" So I told him this story. I never heard another peep from the lady Sasquatch on the mountain. I didn't have to. Forevermore, for at least Otter and I, marijuana is not called chokeweed.
I really struggle with that stuff, you know.
I feel like I was like Shaggy and Scooby or something like that.
Man, that's incredible. And I mean, you know, I find it really funny that those, you know, the Sasquatch being so big, hairy, and shaggy, and everything like that, are also, you know, happy to partake of the, you know,
of the green.
You know. Wait.
I can just imagine.
I think I'm hungry. Hang on.
Come back, Lucky.
Sorry.
What have you been doing for lunchtime? Getting too much green salad.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
that's
so
fun.
yeah,
that was a great story.
We learned something new about that the Sasquatch like to partake in cannabis. It's quite interesting. I could just imagine seeing them all in that cave, a cave full of smoke, and dancing and partying all the time, and coming out of the cave choking to death.
So if you want to approach Sasquatch, perhaps a good time is when the cave is filled full of smoke.
That'd be if you see a cave full of smoke, come knocking. That's when the party.
You might be in for an interesting experience, which you may or may not remember. But anyway.
Yeah.
Wow, that was incredible.
That was the chokeweed story, and it's pretty funny. I mean, you know, I've heard it many years ago, and I said, "Sue, we got to do this story. We got to tell people about this one." And so she thought that's a good idea. So here you go.
Yeah, that's really great. I loved it. But I mean, you know, I've always thought for a long time that wouldn't it be interesting if cannabis was actually like engineered a long time ago to do the things that it does? You know, maybe it's actually has a specific medicinal purpose.
Well, from what I think what Sue told me was they found out that it's not indigenous to Earth.
Yeah, that wouldn't at all surprise me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so there you go. You learn something new. But anyway, so that's a good story for you. If I come across any other really interesting ET stories, I will be sure to give you a shout.
Yeah, hit me up, man. I love listening to these stories. They're great.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, well, until the next time, dude.
Peace out, man.
You can get yourself something to eat. You're allowed to go and eat now.
Not again.
Not again. Oh, no.
Until next time.